Welcome. For those of you who don't know me, I am Christine. I'm a full-time freelance copywriter that now mentors and teaches and creates resources for aspiring freelancers, for anybody who wants to start working from home on their own schedule, living life just on your terms, being an autonomous person that does not rely on a 9 to 5, right? So I make my full-time income working from home, writing copy and content for technology brands, whether it's DocuSign, Zapier, Thinkific. These are some of the well-known tech brands that I have worked for. And then when I do consulting work, I also go a little bit deeper with my clients. So I charge $100 per hour for consulting services. That could be creating voice and tone guides. That could be creating a website for a client. That could be streamlining their brand messaging. It's all about really me creating those documents so that copy and content can flow more easily for my clients. I actually did go in-house as a content lead briefly. So I became a freelance copywriter with no experience, taught myself all of these skills, sales, marketing, persuasion. And when I was offered to go in-house, I did take it. And although I was doing the same thing, which is writing, I really didn't like it. It was not a fit for my personality. I felt very constrained. I felt like my schedule was no longer my own. So what I've really learned about myself in these past 4 years of freelance copywriting is that I would much rather shoot my shot with freelance work that might seem less stable than ever go in-house. So it's not so much even the writing and the act of writing that is the huge win for me. It's really the autonomy of being a freelancer. So that's really why I focus on client acquisition skills, because whether you're writing, podcast manager, web design, all this stuff, the key is that you are offering services to a client, they're paying you, and you are not an employee. That's why I teach cold pitching, because that is something that I learned as a salesperson. Before I entered the freelance copywriting world, I was in a regular 9 to 5 doing sales. So I understood how to get my foot in the door and get somebody to take a meeting with you and trust you. And I parlayed those skills into marketing myself as a freelance copywriter, getting my foot in the door and getting those opportunities. And that's why I teach what I teach, is because I would say out of all of the things you can learn online in terms of copywriting and freelancing, that's the most underrated and overlooked aspect of it, is like, how do you deal with clients so that they continue to give you ongoing work and that you have that income? So my goal is to really show you how doable it is. It's not difficult, it's not unstable, and you don't need prior experience, because that's really where everybody gets caught up. They think that they need to have experience in order to find success. And I'm here to show you that you can get your foot in the door despite having no experience, because you're going to learn how to market and leverage your existing skills. Today's topic is finding your dream clients, right? Finding those high paying opportunities. And I want to show you where to look for clients. So if you're on here live with me, or even if you're watching this on the recording, because I'm going to put this on YouTube, I want to know, where do you find your freelance clients? Where are you looking for clients at the moment? Is it Upwork? Is it LinkedIn? Is it freelance bidding sites, freelance specific platforms, right? Let me know which one of them. Are you relying on referrals? How do you find clients? Because there are multiple ways to find clients. It's not that any other way is better than the other. However, I would say the big differentiator is the quality of clients, right? Because going on Upwork, maybe you could land your first client quickly, get that gig in. But what I teach is really not about getting like one-off gigs. Yes, that's great for building your portfolio in the very beginning. But if you need money now, if you're in the situation that I was in when I first became a freelance copywriter, you really don't have time to play around with those really low-paying gigs, right? So there's freelance job boards. ProBlogger is one of them. You might have heard of it. There's freelance Slack communities. I don't know how popular Slack is. However, I just know of Superpath, which was, before it became paid, was a really good place for me to try to prospect for clients. There is cold pitching. Now you can pitch via email, social media, DM. It's up to you, but are you relying on cold pitching, which is reaching out to the client with a personalized pitch and getting their attention? There's also applying to freelance jobs. This is something that I sprinkle into my strategy as well. I use LinkedIn. I also used a website called remote.co to get one of my best opportunities. So you always want to have something delivered to your inbox. We can get into that. But my specialty is LinkedIn and cold pitching because I believe it is the most effective way to get higher paying clients, not to get gigs, not to land a portfolio piece that you can, okay, I'm going to write this for $10 and put this in my portfolio, or I'm looking for gigs. I'm looking for something quick and easy. It's not, first of all, it is quick. It is, a fast way to get clients is pitching on LinkedIn. It's a proactive way, but it's worth it to hold out for higher paying, higher quality opportunities versus just scrambling on Upwork or whatever low paying content mills. I feel like people have really gotten away from content mills. I don't really hear a lot about that anymore. I think Upwork is really the popular method for acquiring clients. So what I would suggest and what I suggest to all of my students in my course is to avoid bidding platforms like Fiverr and Upwork, anything that requires you to bid on a job, right? Because even on a job board, yes, you're applying for jobs. It's higher. I would say job boards are better than bidding sites because when you're on a site like Upwork that requires bidding, it's oversaturated. Upwork is taking a portion of the profit, which I'm not in control of. And it also puts the client in the driver's seat, really makes the client have the sense that they have all the options in the world. And it kind of takes away your power. It makes the client feel like they have, they're choosing and they can just pluck a writer. It's almost like the Amazon experience. It's like you're adding something to a cart. And as a service provider, you never want to be in that position of feeling like you are a product to be added in a cart, right? So this is why I suggest you use LinkedIn and why you're going to find the higher paying clients on this platform. Number one, LinkedIn is for professionals, right? It's meant for prospecting. So whereas you might not get the best results DMing people on social media because it might feel like an intrusion or it might feel sleazy, LinkedIn is actually meant for doing business. That's why LinkedIn Premium, if you wanted to upgrade your account on LinkedIn, that's why it exists. They want to give you more capability to start pitching people, to get access to people's profiles that you wouldn't normally get. So it's professional. The other reason is that LinkedIn is an org chart. So I notice that a lot of writers struggle to market themselves, right? I look at websites all day long. What I do is I audit websites. That's actually the next call in 30 Days to Paid with my students is I'm doing LinkedIn profile audits where I'm literally pulling up your LinkedIn and, putting you in the hot seat and going through, improve this, optimize this. The reason why writers struggle to fill out an appealing website, a hyper-targeted website, really market themselves in a way that appeals to their ideal clients is because they don't know enough about their ideal client. Now, when you get on LinkedIn, you can see what that client cares about. You can see what they're posting. You can see what their responsibilities are in terms of their job if they are active on this platform, right? So think of LinkedIn as a transparent org chart where you're basically, that information usually isn't even available on websites anymore. You really can't see which employees in which position on a person's website, right? So the other thing is that LinkedIn is less saturated when it comes to writers and freelance opportunities. A lot of writers don't understand how to use LinkedIn, let alone pitch on it. They're not on there bidding for those jobs and opportunities the same way they are on Upwork, just because LinkedIn is not specifically for freelance writers. LinkedIn is for every type of professional, whereas Upwork is, specifically for freelancers. The other thing is that an optimized profile makes it easy for you to be found and communicate with clients. Now, the number one reason I was able to sustain a full-time freelance income for the past 4 years is because I cold pitch and got those opportunities that I was able to put on my website with the logos. I got my foot in the door with big name clients. But what about all the clients that pay my bills that don't have a big name, right? I've worked for so many tech clients that nobody has ever heard of. You will never hear of these names. And it's because they came to me. So while I focused my efforts on cold pitching, what really paid my bills was people finding me on LinkedIn and reaching out to me because my profile was properly optimized. And I'm going to go over all of that in the Freelance Fast Track Challenge. So if you are not registered for that, you have to go to paidcopywriter.com or just the link in my Instagram bio and register for this free live experience because I'm going to be going live twice a day for 5 days. I'm going to put you in a community where we can go back and forth. I can answer your questions. I can critique your pitch. It's going to be an incredible experience. It's called the Freelance Fast Track Challenge. It starts on September 11th through the 15th, but on September 10th, we're going to do a welcome party so I can chill and hang out with you guys and tell you a little bit more about what you can expect on the coming week. And yes, there's going to be replays. Everybody has been asking me that. I know life gets crazy and it's hard to show up live, and you are going to get replays. You just have to watch the replays because they're not going to be available past the challenge. So yes, you can watch the replays, but they're not going to be available like my YouTube videos are, right? So Optimize your LinkedIn profile because you get inbound leads. I'm going to share with you how to optimize your LinkedIn profile during that challenge, but clients coming to you is the dream, right? And trying to SEO optimize your freelance website to get that result takes so much time and effort versus LinkedIn that will put you right in front of your ideal clients just simply by including certain keywords. So it's really hacking the system in a way by having an optimized LinkedIn profile. So let's talk about the telltale signs of clients that have budget and value copywriting. It's what I call the low-hanging fruit, okay? So you can find this information online about the client. You can do your own research, or it might be something that you ask them on a call when you get on the call with a client, right? You want to know how big their company is. What is the employee count? At least in tech, and I think in a lot of other industries, like the financials are transparent. You can see how many funding rounds a company has raised. Did that company have a press release recently saying that they raised Series B funding? This is all stuff that's really common in tech startups. Other companies, private companies may not be as transparent, but look for signs of profitability. If the company has over 20 plus employees, they're profitable enough to be hiring someone, that's a really good sign. Solopreneurs and like coaches and influencers, they can hire you too. However, if you are brand spanking new, I would really try to focus on the bigger companies that have budget and then have coaches and influencers and solopreneurs be more supplementary, where it's like when you get them, you're like, amazing, this is what I love doing, but like this is the other stuff that's going to build my business and pay my bills. And I can go deeper into that about why I prefer working for bigger companies versus solopreneurs. I have videos on that. I think I actually just released a video on YouTube today. Go check that out. It talks about the types of clients that are best to work for newbies. So here's another sign. Do they have a designated marketing department or role that oversees writers? So that could be a CMO, which stands for Chief Marketing Officer. It could be a content marketing manager. If somebody with an editorial title, which in the Freelance Fast Track Challenge, I'm going to give you all of the titles so that you can look for these people on LinkedIn. If they have somebody that actually oversees writers, that's going to be kind of like the low-hanging fruit. That's obvious. They could be looking for a writer. How much content are they producing now? Look at their blogs. Go to their website. What happens when you go to this person's website that you want to write for? Do you immediately get hit with an opt-in? Hey, sign up for our newsletter. That means they're trying to deploy an email marketing strategy, okay? So you need to learn how to poke around and dig in a client's online presence to understand what's going on with their content and what they're trying to do. So yesterday I wrote a cold pitch to this woman. I saw on LinkedIn that she got promoted, which that's my strategy a lot of the time. I'll see that somebody gets promoted to like head marketing something or other, and then I'll hit them with a pitch saying, hey, congratulations, I saw you were promoted to that role. I would love, like, if you're looking for a writer, I'm an experienced writer in your industry. Let me know if you're looking for writing help at the moment as you transition into this new role. And something that I saw when I went to the website was that they were trying with every CTA button to get somebody to book a demo. It was always like book a demo, book a demo, book a demo. And this is very common in the software industry. You know, you have to tailor what I'm saying to your niche and your industry. But in the pitch, I was able to then write, hey, if you're looking to book more demos and you want to achieve that through content copywriting, I'm the person for you, right? So look for signs that they're holding webinars, that they're creating gated content. There's always going to be a need for website writing, for advertising, right? For ad writing, but there's certain content that is produced continually. That's usually like blogs, email campaigns, like long form content that has a separate budget and a separate strategy. So I know that we're getting more into content marketing when I talk about stuff like that, but just like I said, the key there is how much content are they currently producing? That's a telltale sign that they might need writing help. Okay, so understand what the norms are in your industry. If you're trying to become a copywriter and let's say you are like, I know I want to be in the fitness niche. Well, you need to understand what type of content fitness companies have a need for. So for me in tech, there's a large demand for white papers, for case studies. And the reason for these different types of content depends on the length of the sales cycle. I don't want to get too into the weeds on this. I'm trying as someone who shows up online to stop giving people so much information. I took a personality test and it was like, here's what you're good at, but like watch out for this because you're somebody who bombards with information. And I'm So I'm very cognizant that I'm leading you down this rabbit hole, but just hear me out for a second. With B2B copywriting, it's a longer sales cycle, which means that nobody makes an impulse buy when they make these purchases in a business setting. So if you are purchasing software for your company, it requires several people to sign off on it. You have to get people bought in. They're saying now in B2B that there's like 10 decision makers for a B2B purchase. What that means for us as writers who assist marketers who are trying to help companies sell their products is that there's a lot of content that's needed. They need all of these touch points, right? So whether it's emails, whether it's brochures, whether it's pitch decks, all of this content and copy and messaging is needed for a long sales cycle. So when you understand what type of sales cycle you are, assisting, then you know what type of content you're going to be writing and you know how to pitch these higher quality clients. So for example, with B2C, let's say you are a fitness writer. So I'm tech, so I'm a long sales cycle. Now you are a fitness writer. So that's maybe you're selling supplements. That's like a short sales cycle. That's direct to consumer or business to consumer, whatever you want to call it. They are heavier on product listings, ads, and social media posts. So that's the type of stuff that you're going to want to get good at, that you're going to want to build a portfolio around, and that you're going to want to include in that pitch when you're looking for those clients. And then the final thing is, do they currently work with freelancers? This is very hard to tell, but on LinkedIn, sometimes I see freelance writers listing who they work for, companies they work for. So that could be a telltale sign that they work with freelance writers. But for the most part, most companies rely, if they have any type of marketing strategy, on some type of freelance work. It's just a matter of what are they outsourcing. So in the Freelance Fast Track Challenge that's on September 11th, I'm going to be showing you a demo of how to use LinkedIn and Twitter to search for the ideal clients. So obviously we're on the live right now, so I can't pull up my screen, but I'm going to show you how to use the LinkedIn search filters in this challenge. That's that day's lesson, day 4. Look out for that. I'm going to show you how I use Twitter and how I use LinkedIn. Very easy ways to start searching for clients, because one of the most common questions I get is where do I find them? How do I find them? Who do I search for? What are the titles? And again, I just released a video about that on YouTube, right? So something you might be thinking at this point in the video is I don't know who my niche is. I don't know who my ideal clients are, okay? This is where you need to start exploring. You need to understand what industries are available to do copywriting for, content writing for. This is something that really you could be doing using ChatGPT, believe it or not. If you know the right commands, you can really gain such a good perspective. I'm actually commissioning a report right now. I have a freelance writer who is creating a report for me, giving you an overview about all the different niches out there. This is something that has been, niche choosing is the biggest question. It is the biggest struggle. It's why we spend the most time in 30 Days to Paid, my freelance course for client acquisition. It's something that requires you to go through certain exercises. I have a whole exercise on how you can choose your niche and okay, what do you like? What are you good at? What do your friends hit you up for advice for? What can you spend hours researching? I give you all of these prompts so you can come to your own conclusion. And then if you're still unsure, then we go back and forth in the Paid Writers community group and I give you the feedback and how to validate, right? Because you can have an idea of what you think you want to pursue and you're okay, this is perfect, but we want to validate that that's profitable, that there are companies that need what you are offering, right? So I want you to define your ideal clients and practice doing searches for them on LinkedIn and Twitter. If you don't know how to do this, you're going to want to join the Freelance Fast Track Challenge on September 11th. And then I wanted to address one common concern a lot of freelancers have right now is should I even bother? Is freelancing too saturated? Has AI made this pointless? So if you are wondering that, please drop in the chat and let me know. Is this something that you have been wondering, hey, is this even possible for me? Is it something that I should move on from because AI has ruined this for us? Let me know. And this is what I want to say regarding that concern if you feel this way. There are more copywriting needs out there. There are more companies looking for copywriters than there are copywriters to fill those roles. Dramatic pause. Listen to me when I say that. There's more people who need copywriting assistance, that need a good writer, that need someone who's going to understand their content strategy and deliver and be on time. There's more demand than there's more demand than there is supply. That flips that notion on its head. A lot of people have made a lot of money, scare tactic, like fear mongering about the copywriting industry, saying AI is going to change this. And it's just not true. And I say that as somebody who is using AI every day in my business and still contracting copywriters, still paying top dollar for content writers to help me. And my clients have not even mentioned that they are, going down those routes, because it just hasn't become accessible to companies in a way where they're able to deploy AI without somebody overseeing it, right? Here's the other thing. New companies are born, that new companies gain funding, companies are expanding their marketing departments, companies are launching new products. So think of how many changes happen in a business that create the demand for that copywriting assistance, okay? Companies are growing and fluctuating, and there's just constant demand. So it's not fixed. It's not, oh, there's this pool of companies, and as freelancers eat up those opportunities, there's going to be less for me. No. Looks are deceiving. Some of the copywriters out there who, maybe you're going on LinkedIn, you're like, well, it seems like there's like 500 copywriters. They might not be active. They might have quit. They probably have no clients. Looks are deceiving. A lot of people drop out of the game. This is not as saturated as you might think it is. There's always ongoing needs cropping up for content and copywriting help. You need to learn how to position yourself. If you can correctly market yourself and make it clear to a client the value you offer and why you're different, that's the name of the game. And then saturation and all this stuff that people are worried about doesn't even become a concern for you, because you're taking the right steps. You know that you are appealing to your ideal client. You know that you've carved out this specific niche and that you're on your way to becoming an expert and dominating that niche, right? So, like I said, sign up for the Freelance Fast Track Challenge. The link is in my bio. And go to paidcopywriter.com if you don't want to go to the link in my bio. But I want to see if I can answer some questions before I go. I have to eat my breakfast. And thank you for everyone for joining. I see Mike, the health writer, Sim Scales. I see more and more companies making templates using AI. Yeah. And I do want to talk about that too, because one of the concerns that I had when I got into ChatGPT and saw all that it could do and was playing around with it, I was like, are people still going to buy my freelance template playbook? Because as you know, I sell a comprehensive template playbook that gives you every interaction that you'll have with a client. Like, I give you the words, I give you the scenario, and I give you a lesson on why it's effective. And I was like, okay, like what if everybody starts making their own templates using ChatGPT though? Like, is my template playbook still going to be valuable? So then I start playing around in ChatGPT, because like I said, I'm in there every single day. I rely on this tool so heavily in my business. I love it. And wow, the templates that ChatGPT put out in terms of like sales templates for freelance copywriters are trash, right? So by the time you go in and try to get ChatGPT to give you the output, you're better off buying my templates, because they're created by somebody who understands the tone and reads the room and knows what comes across as salesy and scummy and all this stuff. Overly formal pitches are really what flag people and say like, ooh, I don't want to answer that. So having a robot write your pitches is not the move. Just trust me on that. Go in there and play around and experiment on your own and look at the quality between what ChatGPT generates in terms of templates versus the freelance template playbook. My concern is more with regard to whether or not I can do that during my studies. That's a great question, right? Because time is something that I would say holds a lot of people back. Like, I don't know if I have the time. I don't know if I can juggle this. But I'll just put this into perspective. So if you have a plan, like let's say you enroll in 30 days to paid and you have a project plan and it says like, here's the steps you have to take, then it's just a matter of doing each task incrementally and making little progress step by step. Maybe it's not going to be the same progress as somebody who is unemployed or has 100% of their time to dedicate to this, right? Maybe you can't send 50 pitches per day. Maybe you're taking one incremental step and you take that 1 to 2 hours per day to work on your freelance business. You will be so much further ahead of the person who just doesn't start because they just assume they're too overwhelmed and they're too busy. The thing with freelancing that I've found is that if you can land high paying clients and make a full-time income by charging high rates to high quality clients, you have a lot of time back. That's the only reason I was able to start my brand, paidcopywriter.com, was because I was making a full-time living as a freelance copywriter and I had all this free time. And what you choose to do with your free time is up to you. I think for mothers, like, spend that time with your kids, like do this job while your kids are napping or whatever. I'm not a mother, so I'm not going to even pretend to understand, but there's so many mothers that pursue this career path because of the free time it gives them to focus on their family, right? If you are in school, you could be a freelance copywriter or a freelancer or a contractor in any type of way and still focus on your studies. For me, I chose to invest in creating a separate income stream, which is my digital products. So that's what I really love about freelancing, is that it gives you the time freedom. You're not beholden to a company, and then you can do what you need to do with that free time. But you have to get the higher paying, higher quality clients, or else you're just going to feel like you have another job and that you're hustling and that you're working for pennies. Can you tell us where you use ChatGPT? It's literally go to like chatgpt.com. It's free and you can pay for it, but I don't. How do I learn about SaaS? So copywriter Hamed, if I'm saying that right, you got to find out like SaaS specific websites, like find out where these SaaS people are talking. So like G2 is like a SaaS review website. When you say, how do you learn about SaaS? Like what exactly do you want to learn about SaaS, right? Because I think this is another big question I get, is like, how did you gain the experience to be able to enter the software niche as a writer? And the answer is I didn't. I never went to a school. I did sell software at a past job. So when I spoke to clients, I said, hey, like I have some experience selling clients. They don't know anything beyond what I market myself to be, right? Do I know everything about SaaS? No, but I took some background knowledge of somebody who has used software, which we all use software, right? And then if you understand the marketing principles and the copywriting principles, you just apply that to SaaS. There are some SaaS specific things that you learn when you're copywriting in the SaaS space, but learning those copywriting principles and applying them to SaaS definitely works as well. And then you pick up on those nuances as you work for these clients. Somebody said, can I edit your videos? Okay, so I have to eat breakfast now. Please register for the Freelance Fast Track Challenge. It starts on this September 11th, but I'm having a welcome party on September 10th where I can really go back and forth with you and have an exchange with you and let you know what's coming for the week. We're going to be covering so many amazing, amazing topics. Let me just give you a little teaser of what's to come while I have you here. So day one, we're going to do a mindset training. Now this is so key, because I would say in freelance copywriting, mindset is 90%, and actually learning skills and putting things into action is 10%. Because if the mindset isn't there, I can tell you exactly what to do step by step, and you won't do it because you don't believe in yourself. And we need to, talk about mindset in a non-bullshit way. We need to cut through the fluff. Like, I'm not going to tell you to do affirmations and like build up, an image of yourself in your head and by looking at yourself in the mirror every morning. Let's focus on what's like scientifically proven to work in terms of how people gain self-confidence and how people put in the reps and how people succeed. Okay, so I'm going to give you some non-BS mindset stuff. Now, day two, we're going to be crafting your irresistible freelance offer. So on day two, you're going to really learn what makes you different. This is so key. This is the difference between freelance writers who are struggling to get clients and the ones that are just booked and busy and can't take on any more clients, is that they have a clearly defined value proposition. They know exactly how to talk about themselves, their past experiences, their offer in a way that directly gets to the heart of what that client is looking for. And I'm going to teach you how to do that. Okay. Give you examples of value propositions and how you can incorporate that into your LinkedIn profile and your About Me section and whatever platform you're using. Day three is mastering the art of customized cold pitches. Woo! I rely solely on LinkedIn and cold pitching to build my business, to get my foot in the door, to become a freelance copywriter despite having no experience. So the fact that I'm going to be showing you a template, you're going to be getting not only a template, but understanding how it works and why it works. You're going to understand how to structure your pitches. So regardless of your niche, regardless of the platform, you understand how to not send spammy, weird cold pitches that, turn people off, right? Then we're going to talk about the topic we spoke about today, which is finding your dream clients and tapping into the high paying opportunities. I shared this before, but on that day, I'm going to be showing you how to use LinkedIn, showing you how to use Twitter. Those are just two platforms that I believe higher quality clients are on. So I want to show you how to search for clients, how to perform a search for your ideal clients on those platforms. And then day 5, which is huge, and this is where it all comes together, I'm going to show you how to actually take action on everything we have been doing throughout those 5 days. And why this is key is because there's so much information out there, but there's nothing telling you, okay, now it's time to take action. Now it's, you just created this, now go do this. The action plan is missing, and you need to have a goal and you need to have concrete steps for how you're going to get to the goal, or else this will never work. You need to take action. And I have to say, my whole message is like, hey, if I could do this, you could do this too. But I will say that the one advantage I have is that I'm somebody who, I'm not a talker, I'm a doer. So if I say I'm going to do something, I do it, I follow through. I don't sit there and stew about certain things. I do take uncomfortable, messy action. I start before I'm ready, right? It's like the comment about like, can I edit your YouTube videos? It's like, yes, but I'm putting out my messy YouTube videos because it's what I can do right now. And what I can do right now is all I can do. And that's the mindset you need to have, is like, I'm not going to wait for this to be perfect. I'm not going to wait for me to feel ready, some magical unicorn moment where I feel like I'm good enough. No, take action now, but you need the steps. So we're going to talk about, this is honestly, day 5 is the most exciting one for me. I'm trying to pull up. So we're going to set your freelance income goal. You're going to understand the deliverables to put into that income goal so you can reach it. Like, we're going to go deep into your freelance business plan. And the reason why I believe this is so powerful, 35 minutes I'm at, I got to stop talking. I'm trying to get shorter at talking, so I'm literally timing myself. The reason I'm so excited about the freelance business action plan on day 5 is that there's a lot of people who, they're like me, where it's like you have to understand what's possible before you pursue something. If I don't think that something is tangible, doable, that there's concrete steps, that yes, this has been done by other people, yes, this is realistic, I don't do it, right? So when you get into this workbook that I'm going to provide you, you're going to get that as soon as the challenge starts. You're going to get that free workbook, which, by the way, the workbook is so jam-packed with like value and instruction that alone is worth registering for the workshop, because the business plan is going to be there. But you're going to fill out your business plan. You're going to get clear on what you need to do, what the steps are, how long it's going to take, all of that good stuff. And once you see that, you're going to feel like, oh, this is something I can do. I feel comfortable and I'm going to pursue this field. How far should one be to get there? I'm not sure what that means. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I really hope that you join the Freelance Fast Track Challenge that's starting on September 11th. It is free. It is free. I'm going live twice per day for 5 days straight. I'm opening a Slack community, or it's actually not in Slack. It's another pop-up community using my software Kajabi. You'll be able to show me your, everything that we're learning on that day. You're going to say, hey, this is what I took away. What do you think of this? You're going to network with like-minded writers, and you're going to feel confident in taking the next step and putting things into action. So please register for that. I think Ephraim is on the call and he put the link to the Fast Track Challenge. Thank you, Ephraim. So excited. Have an amazing day and we'll talk soon. Please register for the challenge. Don't forget. Bye.